Earth was in chaos. The Vorath, a ruthless alien species, were advancing toward the solar system, leaving destruction in their wake. Humanity's only hope lay in a hastily assembled spaceship, the Hope, and its eclectic crew. Captain Aiden Brooks stood on the launch pad, gazing at the massive vessel. His years of experience as a space pilot had led him to this moment. "We've got one shot at this," he muttered to himself. "Captain Brooks," a voice called out, interrupting his thoughts. It was Dr. Elena Ramirez, the mission's lead scientist. "We need to finalize the crew list." Aiden nodded, glancing at the list. "Let's get this over with." First was Lieutenant Marcus Chen, a skilled engineer known for his quick thinking under pressure. He approached Aiden with a firm handshake. "Ready to save the world, Captain." "Glad to have you, Marcus," Aiden replied. Next was Zara Khan, a hacker with a troubled past. Her reputation for breaking into highly secure systems had earned her a spot on the team. "I hope you can keep up," she said with a smirk. Aiden raised an eyebrow. "Just make sure you can hack those Vorath systems." The final addition was unexpected. A young alien named Lyra who had defected from the Vorath. Her knowledge of their tactics was invaluable. "I want to help," she said softly, her voice tinged with sorrow. Aiden hesitated but knew they needed every advantage. "Welcome aboard, Lyra." As they prepared for departure, the crew gathered for a briefing. "We leave in 12 hours, Aiden announced. "Our mission is simple. Find the Vorath fleet and stop them before they reach Earth." Tensions were high. Doubts and fears bubbled beneath the surface. "Do you really think we can do this?" Marcus asked, voicing what everyone was thinking. "We have to," Aiden replied firmly. "Earth is counting on us." The hours flew by, and soon it was time to launch. The crew strapped in, the engines roared to life, and the Hope ascended into the stars. As Earth grew smaller behind them, the weight of their mission settled heavily on their shoulders. In the cramped quarters of the ship, the crew struggled to find common ground. Zara and Marcus clashed over technical issues, while Elena and Aiden debated strategy. Lyra remained an outsider, her presence a constant reminder of the enemy they faced. During a rare moment of calm, Aiden gathered the crew. "We need to work together. Our differences are our strength, not a weakness. We all want the same thing: to save our home." Slowly they began to bond. Shared meals, late-night conversations, and small acts of kindness bridged the gaps between them. The mission seemed less daunting when faced together. As they approached their first challenge, an asteroid field, they knew the real test was just beginning. "This is it," Aiden said, his voice steady. "Hold on tight." The Hope weaved through the asteroids, the crew's teamwork put to the test. Alarms blared, and the ship shook violently, but they pressed on. Trust grew with every successful maneuver, and by the time they cleared the field, they were more united than ever. "We made it," Zara breathed, relief evident on her face. Aiden nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. "But this is just the beginning. We've got a long way to go." The journey ahead was uncertain, but for the first time they felt like a team. Earth had sent just one ship, but it was filled with hope. The vastness of space stretched out before them as the Hope continued its journey. The asteroid field was behind them, but the real dangers were still ahead. The crew, now more accustomed to each other's presence, settled into a rhythm. Dr. Elena Ramirez worked tirelessly in the lab, analyzing the data Lyra had provided. One evening, Captain Aiden Brooks entered, finding her surrounded by screens filled with alien symbols. "Any breakthroughs?" he asked. Elena sighed, rubbing her temples. "Lyra's intel is invaluable, but it's like trying to decode an alien encyclopedia. We'll get there, though." Meanwhile, Lieutenant Marcus Chen and Zara Khan were in the engine room. "Can you reroute the power to boost the shields?" Marcus asked, his hands deep in the ship's wiring. Zara smirked, tapping furiously on her tablet. "Already on it. You just keep those engines running." Despite their differences, the crew had developed a grudging respect for each other's skills. Even Lyra, initially an outcast, found moments of connection. One night she approached Marcus in the galley. "Why do you fight?" she asked, her voice soft. Marcus paused, looking at her thoughtfully. "For my family. For Earth. Because we have to." Lyra nodded, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and determination. "I fight to atone." As they continued their journey, the ship's sensors detected an anomaly. "Captain, we're picking up something unusual," Elena reported from the bridge. Aiden frowned. "What is it?" "Unclear. It could be a Vorath scout or—" "Something else," Elena replied, her fingers dancing over the controls. "Prepare for anything," Aiden ordered. "Zara, Marcus, get ready." The Hope approached the source of the anomaly, tension thick in the air. Suddenly, the ship lurched, systems flickering. "We're caught in a tractor beam," Marcus shouted. On the view screen, an alien vessel appeared. Smaller than the Vorath ships they'd seen in reports, it seemed to shimmer with an ethereal light. "Identify yourselves," a voice crackled through the comms. "This is Captain Aiden Brooks of the Earthship Hope." "Who are you?" Aiden replied. "We are the Vilari. We mean you no harm," the voice responded. "We have been observing your struggle and wish to assist." Suspicion flashed across Aiden's face. "Why should we trust you?" "Because we share a common enemy," the Vilari representative said. "We have information that can help you defeat the Vorath." The crew exchanged glances. "We can't afford to ignore any help," Elena said quietly. Aiden nodded. "All right. We'll hear you out." The Vilari beamed a representative aboard, a tall, graceful figure named Rylan. They shared vital intelligence about the Vorath, including weaknesses in their fleet's formation. "We can guide you through their defenses," Rylan offered. Lyra studied Rylan closely, her eyes narrowing. "Why help us? What do you gain?" Rylan's expression was somber. "The Vorath threaten all life. If they conquer Earth, they will move on to other worlds, including ours." After a tense discussion, the crew decided to trust the Vilari. "We'll take any advantage we can get," Aiden concluded. With Rylan's guidance, the Hope altered its course, heading deeper into Vorath territory. The journey was fraught with peril, but the Vilari's knowledge proved invaluable, helping them evade several patrols. Late one night, as the ship cruised silently through space, Aiden found himself on the observation deck with Lyra. "Do you think we can win?" he asked her. Lyra looked out at the stars, her eyes reflecting the distant lights. "We have to believe we can, for the sake of both our worlds." The bond between the crew grew stronger with each passing day. They knew the hardest part of their mission was yet to come, but for now, they were ready to face whatever lay ahead, together. The Hope drifted silently through the vastness of space, guided by the intel provided by Rylan and the Vilari. As they neared the Vorath fleet, the mood aboard the ship grew tense. Every crew member knew the gravity of the mission ahead. "All right, everyone, gather up," Captain Aiden Brooks called out. The crew assembled in the briefing room, their faces set with determination. "We've got one shot to plant the device and cripple their weapons. This won't be easy, but it's our best chance." Dr. Elena Ramirez tapped a holographic display, projecting an image of a Vorath ship. "The device needs to be placed here, in the central control room. It'll send out an EMP pulse disabling their systems." Lieutenant Marcus Chen nodded, studying the layout. "How do we get past their defenses?" Rylan stepped forward, pointing to a series of ventilation shafts. "These conduits are your best bet. They're less monitored and can lead you directly to the control room." Zara Khan looked skeptical. "And what if we get caught?" "We won't," Aiden said firmly. "We stick to the plan and we trust each other." Lyra, who had been quiet until now, added, "I'll guide you through their systems remotely. If we encounter any obstacles, I'll help you navigate them." The plan set, the crew geared up and boarded a small shuttle. Aiden, Marcus, and Zara would infiltrate the Vorath ship, while Elena, Lyra, and Rylan stayed on the Hope to monitor and assist. As they approached the enemy vessel, Aiden took a deep breath. "All right, team, let's do this." The shuttle docked, and the trio slipped into the ventilation shafts. The metallic corridors were cramped and stifling, but they moved swiftly, guided by Lyra's instructions through their earpieces. "Left at the next junction?" Lyra's voice crackled in Aiden's ear. "There's a maintenance hatch that'll lead you to the control room." They followed her directions, emerging into a dimly lit corridor. The control room was just ahead. Marcus peeked around the corner, spotting 2 Vorath guards. "We've got company," he whispered. Zara pulled out a small device, overriding the corridor's lighting. The area plunged into darkness, and the guards fumbled with their weapons. Moving quickly, Aiden and Marcus neutralized them silently. "Control room is clear," Aiden reported. "We're moving in." Inside, the central console loomed, covered in alien symbols. Marcus began setting up the device while Zara hacked into the system to buy them more time. "Almost there," Marcus muttered. Suddenly, alarms blared. "They know we're here!" Zara shouted. Aiden drew his weapon. "Marcus, how much longer?" "Just a few more seconds," Marcus replied, fingers flying over the controls. The door burst open and Vorath soldiers flooded in. Aiden and Zara opened fire, holding them off. "Hurry up, Marcus!" Aiden yelled. "Got it!" Marcus exclaimed, hitting the final button. The device activated, sending out a pulse that rippled through the ship. The lights flickered and went out, and the Vorath soldiers collapsed, their weapons disabled. "Move! Move! Move!" Aiden ordered. They sprinted back to the shuttle, pursued by more Vorath forces. As they boarded, the shuttle's engines roared to life, and they blasted away from the enemy vessel. On the Hope, Elena and Lyra watched the chaos unfold on their screens. "They did it!" Elena cheered. Rylan nodded, a rare smile breaking his stern demeanor. "Now we must escape before the Vorath regroup." The Hope raced away from the Vorath fleet, the crew working in perfect harmony. "We're not out of this yet," Aiden warned. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers." The Vorath ships, though crippled, were still in pursuit. Marcus and Zara pushed the engines to their limits, while Lyra and Rylan coordinated countermeasures. It was a desperate chase, but the Hope managed to stay one step ahead. Finally, as they cleared the danger zone, the crew let out a collective sigh of relief. "We did it," Aiden said, his voice filled with pride. Zara grinned, patting Marcus on the back. "Nice work, team." Elena smiled at Aiden. "We couldn't have done it without each other." As they set course for home, the crew knew the battle was far from over, but for now, they had dealt a significant blow to the Vorath and proven that even one ship, when filled with hope and unity, could make a difference. The Hope cruised through the darkness of space, the crew's spirits buoyed by their recent success. But their victory was short-lived as the Vorath fleet, though crippled, rallied quickly. "We've got incoming!" Elena shouted from the bridge. "Multiple Vorath ships on an intercept course." Captain Aiden Brooks gripped the armrest of his chair. "All hands, prepare for battle. This is it, people. We need to hold them off long enough to get the device back to Earth." Lieutenant Marcus Chen and Zara Khan raced to their stations. "Engines at maximum output," Marcus reported. "Shields holding, but they won't last long under sustained fire." Zara's fingers flew over her console. "I'll try to scramble their targeting systems. We need every second we can get." As the Vorath ships closed in, the Hope fired its thrusters, weaving through enemy fire. Explosions lit up the void as the crew fought to keep their ship intact. "Evasive maneuvers!" Aiden ordered, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. Elena monitored the device's status. "The EMP pulse has weakened their shields, but it won't last. We need to get back to Earth with this data." In the midst of the chaos, Lyra approached Aiden. "There's one more thing I can do," she said, her voice steady. "I can use my knowledge of Vorath tactics to create a diversion, but it means going over to their side." Aiden's eyes widened. "That's too dangerous. You'll be caught." Lyra shook her head. "It's our best chance. Trust me." With a reluctant nod, Aiden gave the order. "Do it." Lyra transferred to a small escape pod and launched herself toward the nearest Vorath ship. Using her intimate knowledge of their systems, she hacked into their network, causing confusion and disarray. "This is Lyra!" Her voice crackled over the comms. "I've bought you some time. Make it count." Back on the Hope, the crew took advantage of the disruption. "Plotting a course for Earth," Marcus said, his hands steady on the controls. "We're almost there," Zara added, her eyes scanning the screens. As they sped away, the Vorath fleet began to recover. "They're regrouping," Rylan warned. "We won't outrun them for long." The Hope shuddered under enemy fire. "Shields at critical!" Marcus yelled. Elena looked at Aiden, determination in her eyes. "We have to make a stand, here and now." Aiden nodded. "All hands, prepare for the final push. This is where we hold the line." The crew braced themselves as the Hope turned to face the oncoming Vorath ships. With Lyra's diversion giving them a slim window, they unleashed everything they had. Lasers and missiles streaked through space, striking Vorath ships with pinpoint precision. On the enemy flagship, Lyra continued to wreak havoc. She bypassed security protocols, disabling key systems and causing widespread panic. Her actions gave the Hope the edge it needed. "Keep firing," Aiden commanded. "We can't let them reach Earth." The battle raged on, each second feeling like an eternity. The Hope took heavy damage, but the crew's resolve never wavered. They fought with everything they had, knowing that failure was not an option. Finally, a massive explosion rocked the Vorath fleet. "Direct hit on their flagship," Elena shouted. "They're retreating." Cheers erupted on the bridge as the remaining Vorath ships began to fall back. The Hope had done it. They had repelled the enemy and protected Earth from imminent destruction. As they limped back toward their home planet, the crew reflected on their journey. They had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious, united by a common purpose. "Lyra's signal is fading," Zara reported, her voice tinged with sadness. "She gave everything for this mission." Aiden bowed his head. "She was one of us, and she'll be remembered as a hero." The Hope returned to Earth, battered but unbroken. The crew was greeted as saviors, their story becoming a beacon of hope for all humanity. As they disembarked, Aiden looked at his team with pride. "We did it," he said, his voice choked with emotion. "Together, we saved our world." And so the crew of the Hope became legends, their bravery and unity serving as a testament to what humanity could achieve when faced with the greatest of challenges. They had sent just one ship, but it had carried the hopes of an entire planet, and that had made all the difference.